Hello everybody, my name is Anastasia and I have been a certified master teacher of Reiki since 2005. It is my great passion and it's pretty much my lifestyle to the best of my ability. What is Reiki? There's different ways to interpret it, but basically it is translated as universal life force energy. And what Reiki does, it helps you to balance your own energy, the energy flow, and the chakras in your body to either heal or improve your emotional state, your mental state, your physical well-being, spiritual well-being. It is somewhat like recharging your life battery. So there are different ways to practice Reiki. There's traditional, there's untraditional way, and I teach untraditional way. What that means is that it is just more liberal way. The information is still the same. You learn the same things, but accessibility to information is much more available at any time. And supervision is available all the time as well. So if it's something that you are interested in learning, you can call or text me at 646-226-2421 and we'll schedule either a personal phone call or a meeting where we will discuss why do you think that Reiki is for you, and I think Reiki is for anyone. There is no age restriction. You can teach your own children if you decide to learn it yourself. You do not have to be a master to teach your own children to do this. And how do I know that it's right for me? Well, have you ever wondered that there's so much more to this life than just this meat suit? You feel that there's something inside more. You feel connection. Or you're always inclined to help people in a sense where, let's say somebody says that they're not feeling well, and your first reaction is to, place your hand, even yourself, because it's the most natural thing to do, to place our hands on an area that hurts, to feel it, to heal it. And when the person says, let's say I have a headache, and boom, you put your hands on them without even realizing you did that, or maybe you did realize but didn't know what that was. Just basically the only requirement for studying Reiki is a desire to do so. There's nothing really else. You also should have enough time and availability for practice, because it's not one of those things that you can read about. It's something that you also have to practice hands-on, and I'm here to guide you to the best of my ability. If you live nearby, and I am on Staten Island, New York, if you live somewhere within the vicinity, you have a perfect opportunity to meet me face to face, and I'll guide you through the hand positions, because that's what Reiki uses, certain hand positions. It is not a type of massage. It's not invasive. It is light placement. You learn the light placement of hands, either directly on the body or right above it. Some practitioners choose not to even touch the body. It's up to you. But you decide why. Why do you feel that it's something that you want to do? Because there's also intuitive body work. And it's not all Reiki. There's different types of Reiki as well. Angelic, Karuna, different kinds. I teach on traditional Mikao Usui, and I use a text, Essential Reiki, Complete Guide to an Ancient Healing Art by Diane Stein. So if you've heard of her and you don't agree with her, then it's not going to work for you, because this is the material that I use. However, even though she is a little bit outdated and a little bit sexist, I still find that her material is very easy to understand, because that's what I like to do, is keep things easy enough for you to understand, because this amazing modality, it can get complicated enough in a sense where there's so many things involved that I'd like to keep things simple, and she's pretty simple and comprehensive, and covers pretty much everything. And she's also teaching untraditional, so that's what I learned. I learned Reiki through her techniques, through her teachings, through my master, obviously, but through her ways. And if you don't agree with her, and you read her and you don't agree with her, you don't like her completely, then I suggest a different teacher. However, if you have not read, or once you get the book and you read and you feel that it resonates with you, then we can proceed. But before anything, before even beginning, what I like to do is for you, if you decide that you resonate with me and resonate with Reiki, that is something that you feel compelled to learn, I'd like you to text me your name, if I don't know it yet, your birthday, the date of your birth, the time of your birth, and the place of your birth. The reason why I do that is I like to look at your astrology chart in comparison to mine to see if we'd be a good match as a student and a teacher. So I don't waste your time, and you don't waste your time or money. And what that means basically, if we are not that compatible, or we have a pre-existing karmic relationship according to our charts, my teaching might simply not resonate well with you. You might find me as something that is not for you per se. Does it mean it's wrong? No, it doesn't. It just means that there's most likely a better teacher out there for you than I am. Maybe the way I convey information might not be understandable to you, or just personality clash. So in order to avoid any confusion or complications, I'd like to look at the chart first, and I will be honest with you about my findings. If I see that we should really not match, should not really proceed, I will let you know. However, I've had students in the past that should have not been my students, and we did well, and they still got plenty out of it. As I like to say, it's not exactly rocket science, but it is something sacred and should be taken seriously. But that's what I like to do before I proceed with anything. But think about what it is that you're thinking to achieve with Reiki. Are you planning to do this as strictly self-healing, helping others, or professionally? There are 3 steps to Reiki. Reiki 1 entails basic physical, face-to-face, hands-on, one-on-one, simple. You learn hand placements. Reiki 2 is distance healing, psychic healing. And that's when things get a lot more complex, because you are also going to be introduced into Reiki symbols, sacred symbols. They're not secret, but they're sacred symbols that Reiki uses. And that's when you can learn to do healing at a distance. The body is no longer required to be there in person. And Reiki 3 is obviously master teacher. With each of the steps, you get an attunement and variety of gifts, exercises. There'll be Zoom classes. Generally, Zoom classes are held on Sunday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. They are all recorded, so that if you miss a class, you can rewatch it. The link will be sent to you, and on top of that, it will be stored in the YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Good Juju, Reiki Academy, Good Juju, and you'll be sent a link. privately. Obviously, each class is stored there privately, but you will get a link to it via email that you will provide. But basically, you decide for yourself, and you don't have to decide now. You can change your mind later. But most people kind of stick to Reiki 2 and then take a little bit longer until proceeding to Reiki 3 teaching, because you do want to be more confident in your practice before guiding others through it. But essentially, Reiki 3 is about attuning you, attuning other people. And so basically in Reiki 1, what you get is an attunement and an initiation into Reiki. And that is what separates Reiki from all other energy work, is the attunement process. And during the attunement, what happens is the channel, the energy channel inside of you expands with every attunement. So you're holding more energy for the purpose you're serving. So in Reiki 1, you get a first attunement. You'll get 4 classes recorded. After second class, because the first 2 classes are predominantly theory and history, you'll be able to practice. And the practicals are available either in my house or at your house. We can agree. I can provide an actual person for you to practice on, a variety of people, upon, of course, scheduling, because of the nature of my work and the unpredictability of my schedule. I need to schedule any meetings in advance, and most of the time it cannot be spontaneous. But I tell you now that most of the time, all of the practicals and the classes and everything most likely will happen on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, but other days are also available upon request. So in Reiki 1, what you get is an attunement, and in Reiki 1, what you'll learn is obviously what Reiki is, what it does, what it's for, what it doesn't do, how we start our practice, what to expect. We will learn about angels, archangels, Reiki guides, how to connect to them, the fact that the guides can be also animals, and the way they communicate, either through while you're awake or in a dreamland or in meditation, different ways. You'll be provided with little exercises to activate your chakras. We'll be talking about what chakras are and what they represent, and the mantras associated with them, and even body parts. We'll be talking about how to incorporate Reiki into daily life. We'll be talking about, obviously, hand positions for self-healing and healing of others. And there will be meditations provided, and what I can also do is a animal totem card reading to determine what your animal guides are, if that's something you're interested in, because not everybody finds connection to the angels and archangels useful. Some actually connect to animals or insects better. And you'll realize what yours is once you start studying and training. Learn what your psychic abilities are, and odds are, if you're drawn to Reiki, you have at least one. Odds are you have all of them. You just have not learned to pay attention, or maybe you have. And basically we learn what our channels are through which we receive the energy. Even though Reiki is not technically like a standard psychic work, it ends up being one because we are channeling the energy and we are connecting psychically. So psychic messages do end up going through for some practitioners. It is not a requirement to be a psychic in any shape or form. There are people who don't even bother with anything, even angels, archangels, or anything. But you'll learn all of that. And another thing I do is also I look at your chart and I see what is your dominant element, because we'll also be talking about elements such as water, fire, earth, air, and spirit. Obviously, spirit is not a part of the elements, the basic elements, but it is in practicals, in practice, because that's how we connect through the spirit when we channel the energy. So what you'll start to learn is that you become a vessel, and that's what Reiki is. The practitioner is a vessel that connects the universal life force energy, the source, the God, however you choose to call. I call it universe, God, interchangeably, Father Universe. To me, it's Father Universe and Mother Nature, Mother Earth. So you connect to the source and you channel this energy through you into the receiver. You're not giving them your energy and they're giving you their energy. However, there is an exchange of it. But you channel this energy into them and their energy flow, their energy. Once it goes and starts to balance itself, their own energy heals itself. We do not heal. It's the person's own energy that heals if healing happens. But you will also learn how to protect your energy, how to handle the actual session, and how to take care of yourself after. Very important. Since you are a channel, you need to be aware of what happens, and that's what we learn. We learn what this energy is, what it feels like, what's happening in the session, how you feel, how the receiver feels, everything, and how to protect yourself and how to ground yourself, take care of yourself and your energy, so that you don't end up wasting or end up picking up on things that do not belong to you. So you'll learn which psychic abilities you have, whether or not you're an empath, what kind of empath, and you maybe already have some kind of sense that there's something going on with you, but you don't know what, picking up on some kind of physical symptoms or emotions, or all of a sudden you have a headache when you walk into a room, or all of a sudden you feel sad for no reason. Yeah, you'll learn all of that. And in Reiki 2, you get another attunement, and you learn the way to do distance healing, various ways of doing that, what to watch out for. Again, more exercises and meditations to help guide yourself, protect yourself, cleanse yourself. We'll be talking about crystals, things like this, basic stuff. I don't really do heavy crystal work, but it's something that you're interested in. There is a supplemental reading that I recommend for it as well. But basically, in Reiki 2, we will also discuss, if you do decide to do this as a professional, how to start your business up, and ethical parts of talking to people ethically, because it's very important to be professional and ethical in the way you handle yourself and the way you interact with your clients. And in Reiki 1, you are allowed one free session, hands-on. In Reiki 2, you're allowed 1 hour distance healing or process work session. And that's something you'll find out when you decide to study with me. And obviously in Reiki 3 is another attunement. And there's 2 more symbols. Like in Reiki 2, you have 2 symbols. 3 symbols. Sorry. 3 symbols in Reiki 2. 3 symbols. What they are, how they're used, everything. And then the Reiki 3, you get 2 more symbols. And obviously consistent supervision throughout all 3 steps, either via phone, Zoom, or in person. I am always available for any questions, concerns. I do not leave my students to figure things out for themselves. You will make mistakes along the way, but essentially, there is no wrong way to practice Reiki. However, there are ethical parts of it, and there is a proper energy flow, which you will learn. But in Reiki 2, again, heavier emphasis on archangels, psychic work, anything that comes up in the sessions, self-healing sessions. And there will be a brief introduction into Reiki 3 by discussing of sacred geometry, and what's called a microcosmic orbit exercise. And that's an exercise that is going to prepare you for Reiki 3 if you decide to go on and teach this and be a mentor to somebody else. Again, not a requirement to complete all 3. It is up to you where you wish to stop. Reiki 1, just basic self-healing and basic healing of others by basic placement of hands. No need for incorporation of, there's no symbols of any kind, nothing complicated at all. Keeping it simple, however you can already incorporate crystals in Reiki 1. In Reiki 2, if you choose to, that incorporates distance healing, and that's when you actually can start working professionally if you decide to. Absolutely. Take your time, decide for yourself. After each attunement, there's what is called possible detoxification period, and it's very personal to every single person that goes through it. However, some consistencies have been found, like a slight headache if possible, maybe a little nausea, a lot of sleeplessness or a lot of sleep, or a burst of energy. It's very individual. If in some instances people have reported changes in life, all of the changes are for the best, even if it looks crazy, chaotic, and scary. Some people have reported changes in jobs, changes in partnerships, relationships, marriages, improved health, or maybe slight worsening, because actually before something that, if let's say you had a pre-existing situation, condition, or issue, before if it's meant to be healed, it will get worse most of the time. So it'll be more painful or more discomfort, but underneath it all, you'll feel well. So do not freak out. Do not worry. It's very temporary and it will go away, but it's very individual, and most likely it will not go unnoticed. I have yet to see someone who had absolutely zero detoxification. I find that all of us have something to cleanse, to shed, to transform. How much of it, what it will look like, it will depend on your personal situation, on your personal well-being or personal experience. Also, if, let's say, you've studied Reiki before, but feel like something's missing, and if anything that I've mentioned so far resonates with you, that, oh, that's what's missing, then I welcome you to practice with me as well. However, I cannot just do an attunement. I can, but I do recommend you go through the entire course. Why just do an attunement when you can, if that's what's missing in your practice, just the attunement, or the actual course information about angels, archangels, crystals, and elements, and everything in between, then you can repeat this course. with me, there's really no restriction. And I always say, don't let me be the only source of information, because there's so many ways to practice Reiki. There's so many amazing branches of it. There's people who incorporate heavily the angels and archangels and only that. Or there's crystals and there's herbal aromatherapy, different kinds, and you will learn what resonates with you best. Maybe all of it does, or maybe none of it does. You'll learn what's best for you. But if you do decide that what I have to say resonates with you, then please text or call me. Again, my number is 646-226-2421. Please do not call or text if you're not serious. This does require effort and dedication. So if you feel like you cannot dedicate your time to this, please wait until you do. And you will feel a push when you're ready. Okay, I'm ready. I'm here. You can text or call me. If you do call me, leave me a voicemail. Otherwise, I might not know you called with the spam callers nowadays. Texting, again, is the fastest way. You can also find me on WhatsApp. But if you do decide, Reiki 1 costs, I charge $150 for Reiki 1. Reiki 2 is $300, and Reiki 3 is $600. It is not the highest fee, and it's not the lowest fee. I also understand that perhaps not everybody is able to afford it. Get in touch with me. We will talk about it. Also, if you cannot pay in a lump sum all of it, let's say, and you pay per step, obviously per initiation, you can pay in payment plans. The way you can pay is, if you are planning on coming here physically, you can bring the money physically in cash, or I accept Venmo and PayPal. Now, if you decide to pay via PayPal or Venmo, the day I receive your payment will serve as a permission for me to send an attunement to you. And I will get in touch with you before I do so. And once I do the initiation, especially if it's at a distance, obviously, I will get in touch with you after, and we will discuss what to expect now. But I do encourage, if you do live in the area of Staten Island, anywhere around here, please stop by and get your attunement initiation physically. It is a special process. It's very fast. It's only a couple, not even a couple of minutes long. But I do want you to experience it physically. It's nothing outrageous where you'll be feeling lightning of bolts, or maybe you will. Again, the experience of attunement is individual to you as well. When I received my attunements, I felt amazing. And I felt like as if there were clouds raging above, back and forth. Meanwhile, it was a completely sunny day. And it was just an incredible feeling of peace and connection to the universe, to God, to Source, that never left me from that day. And I'm absolutely grateful for that process. Now, if you do end up getting a distance attunement, it is still just as incredible and effective. But the reason why I say get a physical attunement one-on-one, just for the experience of it, for the feel of it, because if you decide to be a teacher later on, you will know what that felt like. And even if you do get an attunement by distance, and later on you end up being in this area, let's say you're visiting or you have time for that, stop by. and we'll do it physically again. There's no limit. And you do not have to get reattuned later. It stays with you for the rest of your life, even if you do not end up practicing Reiki. It is really your experience. But if I do receive a payment from you, that means that it's an automatic permission for me to send an attunement to you, and I will clarify it with you before proceeding. Some people choose to prepare for their attunement beforehand, sort of like eating lightly, drinking more water, which is encouraged after the attunement as well, just to keep things easier for you. Some people actually end up eating twice as much after to ground themselves. Experience is all yours, absolutely. But please let me know if it's something you're interested in. Every step, I mean, Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 definitely have at least 4 classes, 2 hours each, Sunday night, 7 to 9. And you learn so many things in the course, little rituals that we do, meditations, mantras, different ways to deal with things. And the best thing that I find, even if you don't end up practicing Reiki professionally, at least what happens is throughout the entire training, you'll learn more about yourself. You get more in tune with everything around you. You feel more connected, so that gaping hole inside of you that you might feel closes up just that much more. But again, the effort that you put into this, the dedication, that's as much as you're going to get out of it, basically. It's not going to give you anything new that you do not already have. So yes, if you do end up, I want to say, developing any psychic abilities, because technically if you are developing psychic abilities, that means you've had them all along. But Reiki will not give you any new ones. Reiki will not give you anything new. It will reconnect you to yourself. It will, the most that it does, it definitely helps you to be present. Present enough to notice what's inside of you. What are the thoughts? What are the feelings? How do you feel? How do you transmit this energy? What are you attracting in your life? What kind of vibrations? What kind of people? What kind of events? You'll become more aware of yourself and your environment, and then you decide, is this for me? Do I want to proceed? Do I want to transform? Do I want to develop further? What's more? What else is out there? You get curious about things, and you realize that there's so much more to this life than just this physical body, which is amazing in itself, because this is kind of like our little consistent cheat sheet to what's actually happening. Our physical symptoms in our physical body, our emotions, our thoughts, the spirit that is inside of you. It is incredible, and you'll learn through this course. So if you have any questions, any further questions, something I did not mention, something that you'd like clarification on, again, please feel free to text me, to call me, and we'll talk about it. But if it's something that resonated with you, I do encourage you to be brave and go ahead, learn about yourself, get to know you, real you, get to know maybe even past lives. A lot of it will not be pleasant, but nobody said that transformation and healing is pleasant. Most of the time it is very painful and it's messy, but it's so worth it, and it's so beautiful in the end, because the liberation from the burden of past trauma, of all those feelings that you've been carrying around in a bag, like a bag of stones. You will have a chance to finally place it, let it go, to the best of your ability and to a degree of your desire to let it all go as well. But I encourage you to be brave, and I welcome you to join our beautiful Reiki community that is growing and flourishing. And I look forward to hearing from you, and I am wishing you an amazing, blessed day. Love and light.